SuperGP Champions Trophy is proudly brought to you by Diode and their associate sponsors.
The 2016 SuperGP Champions Trophy, sponsored by Diode, heads to Red Star Raceway for the very first round. An incredible circuit that has now become the home of motorcycle racing in South Africa. And joining me is a man who has spent hours around here, including winning the 24-hour last year. Rob Portman, great to have you on board, buddy.
Yeah, thanks, Greg. I'm so excited for this year's racing. We've got comebacks, we've got new riders, nothing but excitement for 2016.
I think it's going to be incredible, and it's great to see all the riders coming out here, 110 of them in all, and they're about to go and do battle on the circuit. After an incredible season in 2015, the Super Junior champion Wild William Friend has headed overseas to do international duties. That's left the #1 plate wide open, and some brand new characters have joined us for the 2016 season. It's going to be absolutely electric racing on track, and some of the best stuff you're going to see on the Super GP Champions Trophy.
As always here, Rob, at Red Star Raceway, the short circuit is the option for our Super Juniors, and I think they're going to be putting in some really good lap times.
Yeah, Greg, you said 2015 was really exciting. This year is going to be even more so. Some really fast riders, got new Pirelli tyres fitted for this year, so lap times are tumbling. Aiden Liebenberg, the man out front, Tyrese Robert, and CJ Hackett riding out your top three.
Stefan Doyle and Otto, the second row of the grid, and you can see only 1.5 seconds between the front and the second row. Really close stuff between these guys. Look out for the guys in the background as well. Some new riders coming all the way from Cape Town, Jared Schultz being one of them. But I think the find of this weekend will be Tyrese on pole, and in fact, Aiden Liebenberg having to start at the back of the grid. So look out for him coming through the field.
Luca Coccioni giving a thumbs up there, and Chase Holscher looking ready to race as we head off on the start. And it looks like Tyrese Roberts got a good start, and CJ Hackett right next to him, but it's the Cape Town man, Brandon Stefan, on the inside, who's going to be latest on the brakes, heading into turn one.
Yeah, he gets the lead into turn one. Good stuff there as they head down into Portable Shade. And around that left hand, you can see CJ Hackett already hassling. Tyrese Robert losing out ever so slightly and already under pressure just in the background there. You can see a good start there from Dominic Doyle, and Dom Doyle certainly means business. But keep an eye out all race long for the ever moving forward Aiden Liebenberg.
Yeah, he's already made his way up into fourth place and just on the back of that top three battle. So he's in the slipstream now of Tyrese Robert. He pulls out, going to try and do it on the brakes into turn one, and so confident on the brakes. They really have got all kinds of confidence now on these new Pirelli tires. You can see the lean angles much improved from last year, and we can see it in the lap times. But that man, Aiden Liebenberg, is not hanging around, but he's got two very fast riders ahead of him that he's going to now try and get past.
Going really well, getting down into the 54s, even though it's just at the start of the race, and you can see just how well those Pirelli tyres work. We spoke to Mark from Pirelli, and he basically told us that everything that happens with these tyres remains the same right throughout the race. There is no up and down, cold and hot conditions. It's pretty much the most consistent tyre these youngsters could ride on.
CJ Hackett and Aiden Liebenberg now putting all kinds of pressure on that man, Brandon Stafford out front. Wide there from Hackett, and that's allowed Liebenberg on the inside. So from the back of the grid up into second place, Stefan has a look behind him, and I don't think he can quite believe that is that man Liebenberg. It's Brandon Stefan leg out, and Liebenberg just stuffs it on the inside. This is great racing.
Yeah, well done there. Aiden Liebenberg from the back of the pack is only taking him a couple of laps, and in fact on that last lap got down into the 53.9. So you can see clearly he's the man to beat. And these other guys are sort of scratching their helmets going, what are we going to do to try and catch him?
Stefan looks like he's got a little bit of setup problems. He's having to brake really late and turn the bike to close the line. CJ Hackett trying to make the move as he gets a slipstream. Will he make the move on the inside into turn one? Stefan is just so late on the brakes, and he brakes and he turns that KTM RC390, not allowing Hackett through, and that's allowed Tyrese Robert there in fourth place. He's now closed on that leading three, and watch the CJ Hackett on the inside. No, can't make it stick.
Incredibly close between these three though, and nothing in it is in the background. You can see just the rest of the field starting to make their way up there. Luca Coccioni leading the second bunch. It's Chase Holscher and Lance Murray a bit further back. Lance Murray looking to step up into 600s in the very near future, so keep an eye out on the 9.9 bike. He's probably not going to be in the 390s for too much longer, but it's great to see such action, and it's exactly what we expected.
CJ Hackett, that was just desperation. He's been trying for a couple of laps now to make that move on Brandon Stefan, looking down at the gearbox, so maybe just jumped out of gear, but that was so close to disaster there. Did really well to avoid Brandon Stefan. Now this is the dice that we were talking about. Lance Murray, Luca Coccioni just behind him, and Chase Holscher. A great battle here further down the field. That's going now for the top five.
Yeah, incredible stuff. Oh,
Oh,
Marais
look
running
at
wide
Marais.
onto the grass, misses the cones. That's going to be a costly mistake there. Holscher's going to capitalise, as is Coccione. Coccione leads as they go down into one. Holscher now makes up one position, sneaking ahead after the mistake there from the 9-9, and Lance Marais will be kicking himself.
His team must have thought, why are you coming into pit lane? But managed to hold it all together. But Aiden Liedenberg, from the back of the grid, he's going to take the race 1 win here. And an ecstatic little rider there. And in second place, the man from Cape Town, Brandon Staffen. And that's promoter Tyrese Robert with his number 56 Yanni Stander shirt on there in third place.
Now riding for Yanni on this weekend. In the background, you see still some action that had to be sorted out. And Coccione, he was looking to try and get up there into the top 5. He was going to come across the line. Incredible stuff there. Dominic Doyle just ahead of him though. And as the dust settled from the RC390s, unfortunately Aiden Liebenberg was caught up with a technical infringement. So the results changed up with Brandon Staffen taking the win, Tyrese Robert in second, CJ in third, with Dominic Doyle, Luca Coccione, Chase Holcher, Lance Marais and Ricardo Otto making up the top 8, with Schultz and Gillick from Cape Town in 9 and 10. Straight into race 2. Wow, this is the way we do it. We don't hold anything back here, and you can see these guys and girls are not going to hold anything back either, as they're down towards turn number 1. Once again on the inside. Oh, Staffen looked for it, but couldn't quite make it stick. Incredible riding coming out of some of these youngsters. They went 3 by 3 into turn 1.
Did you see CJ Hackett already trying to make the move, but Staffen on the inside of Robert already. But CJ Hackett, he made that mistake in race number 1, and he looks determined and fired up here in race number 2. He doesn't want the same mistake. He wants to pick up that podium and even his first win. But he's got Tyrese Robert. Brandon Staffen already putting a little bit of a lead now over the chasing field. And this is definitely the battle now. CJ Hackett, Tyrese Robert looks straight into the eyes of Hackett, who's going to go on the inside late on the brakes. Great move up into second.
Yeah, he makes it stick. There you go, confirmation. Tyrese Robert unfortunately just looked over the shoulder at the wrong time, and Hackett was just waiting for that. As soon as you look over your shoulder, dive up the inside, you've got no option and no way to defend. Nice little battle just further back here. Luca Coccione, Lance Marais, Chase Holcher, and now Ricardo Otto up there as well. 5-way battle for what is probably 4th place on the track.
Dominic Doyle holding down that 4th place at the moment. This is the battle. Oh, CJ Hackett, foot off the pig. Big mistake there. Tyrese Robert taking full advantage, riding around the outside. And CJ Hackett not having it all his own way this weekend, really trying hard to pick up that podium finish.
Oh, I love this little battle a bit further back here. It's great to see Ricardo Otto in the mix. And just off the back there, Jared Schultz starting to make his way up along with Garrett Gillick. So the two Cape Town boys, they've stepped up to Nationals for the very first time this season, and slowly but surely they're getting into the hunt, and it's really good to see them stepping up to a national championship level.
Knowing Chase Holscher, he will not be happy down there in 8th position at the moment, so he's going to look to get ahead of the 2 riders ahead of him. But Lance Marais doing the same thing we saw out front from Staffen, late braking and closing the corner, not allowing the other riders to come through. Dominic Doyle, he's got Coccione right on his tail. This is the battle for 4th place now. So Dominic Doyle, we've seen him higher up in the 2015 season, so we'll be looking to get points here going into Pekisa and hopefully pick up a win there.
Yeah, I think just maybe the setup on the bike, not 100% just yet. Dom Doyle, we know, can run in the top 3 and usually runs with the likes of Brandon Staffen and Tyrese Robert. But today, I think it just hasn't gone the right way, and hopefully he'll get it all sorted out by the time we get to Pekisa for round number 2. Right now, he's just looking to get some points in the bag. It is the first race of the season, in fact, the second race of the day in the first round. And these guys will just look to consolidate as many points as they can, because they'll see after last year's championship and how close it got down to the wire that championship points are vital.
That's exactly it, Greg. You cannot win the championship in the first round, but Brandon Staffen, what he has done is taken the race to win here. CJ Hackett, very happy after a disappointing race number 1. He picks up that 2nd position ahead of Tyrese Robert. So your top 3 there, really a great racing here from the KTM 390 Cup riders again. Dominic Doyle does pick up that 4th and good championship points, just ahead of Luca Coccione.
Marais, Holscher, Otto, Schultz and Gillig make up the top 10. And we head on to the podium now to get all the celebrations. You can see Tyrese Robert swapping out with that man, CJ Hackett. High fives and big hugs for Staffen. He's a happy man. Double podium for him. High five as well from Vaughan Swanepoel from KTM South Africa. Let's catch up with 3rd place, Tyrese Robert.
Yeah, it was a really good race this time around. I think I just need to improve on my fitness and get the bike set up right, and then I'll be there.
That feels awesome for my first time at a national. It's something you can't explain.
Oh, what a race that was. I enjoyed myself thoroughly. I just want to congratulate CJ and Tyrese, my dad and my uncle Ants for everything they've done for me this weekend. And to my friend Dom from BE, well done, bud.
In 2016, a big story is the welcome return of Suzuki to national championship level racing. The SuperGP Champions Trophy has been dominated in the 600 class by Yamaha and Kawasaki over the last few seasons. This time out, Blaise Baker and Darian Kayser are here on Uncle Andy Suzuki to take on the best riders in the country at Super 600 level.
And Rob, there certainly are an array of very talented youngsters and some ladies joining us for the first time as well, and going to be stepping up with Nicole van Arsvegen. So looking forward to seeing what's going to happen here in the Super 600s.
Great to see the Suzuki's back, but it's Adolf Boshoff on the Yamaha ahead of Steven Oendal, your number one man from last year. Doran Lerera, great qualifying there in third, just ahead of Dylan Barnard, the most improved rider over the last season.
Darian Kayser and Blaise Baker alongside him for the second row of the grid. So here we go for the first race of the season. The number one plate is always a heavy one to have, and Pooch is looking forward to the challenge, but he has got a very talented youngster alongside him. Let's see who gets the drop off the line. Blaise Baker with an incredible start up the inside, looking to come through on Doran Lerera, and he's already tucked up into fourth place. In the background you can see chopping and changing as they come through there, and what a start from the Triumph and Nicole van Arsvegen.
That's a great start up into your fifth or sixth place there, but Greg, you know you are not going to beat Steven Oendal off the line. Good start from Doran Lerera, he comes down the back straight, but watch out for that Neolife Yamaha of Adolf Boshoff. Yep, using the slipstream, latest of the late breakers is Adolf Boshoff. You can see that almost 50 meters later. Now the charge is on, he wants to close down that gap to Steven Oendal. It's definitely going to be between the two Yamahas out front. They showed the pace throughout practice and qualifying, but look at Pooch already trying to stretch that gap.
Yeah, incredibly, the two Yamahas were nearly 3 seconds quicker than any other motorcycle out there, so they should have the pace to get away from the likes of Doran Lerera in third place and Blaise Baker closing in on him on the Suzuki. Just behind that looks like, yes, that's Darian Kayser, who snuck up ahead and got through on the Triumph of Nicole van Arsvegen. But these two Yamahas have now started to stretch their legs, and whoa, Pooch is in trouble.
A little bit of a mistake there from Oendal, ran in a bit hot, got it all kinds of sideways, and Adolf Boshoff just sitting behind there. He could have made the pass, but definitely riding with some tactics here, something we haven't seen before from the Cowboy. He's just shadowing Steven Oendal, because no point in making the pass now, because he knows that Pooch will just attack on the last couple of laps. So he's going to sit there and he's going to make that move count right at the end.
15 laps of action. Remember, this race is a 15-lapper. Third place, Blaise Baker, Darian Kayser, the two Suzukis, fighting hard there with Doran Lerera. Then just in the background, you can see just how hard they're working. Nicole van Arsvegen fighting with Byron Vester. Now remember, he is our current 250 Cup champion. Down goes Darian. Darian Kayser sliding out, and oh, what a pity there for the youngster. He was going so well.
Such a pity. You can see he's really angry with himself. First time out on the Suzuki, and his stablemate, look at that, Blaise Baker up into third. Lerera makes the move on Dylan Barnard. That's a good battle there for fourth. Barnard's going to try and rail it around the outside to line himself for a move on the inside, and look at that. Oh, that's brave stuff. What great riding there from Dylan Barnard. Like we said, has improved so much. Oh, and he gets out of the seat and he points to Doran Lerera to say, follow me.
I think he was actually trying to tap the Kawasaki, saying, yeah boy, yeah, let's get it on. He was going on, and you can see he's still pushing hard. I think he might be just pushing it a little bit over his limit though, and I hope that he can just keep it upright.
He's down the back straight now. Adolf Boshoff, he's made the move. Boshoff makes the move on Steven Oendal down the back straight now. I wonder if Oendal kind of just let that happen. He's been shadowed the whole time. He's seen his pit board, seen that he has not broken the toe of Adolf Boshoff. So he says, well, you go out front and you lead now. I'm going to follow you. And when it counts, I'm going to make the move. But Adolf Boshoff, you know when he's pushing hard, those feet come off the pegs and that style adjusts. You can see he gets all kinds of aggressive. And Steven Oendal, with all that international experience, he knows exactly what to do to win races. Here's the battle for third place though.
Oh no, Barnard's gone down. I thought he might be pushing a little bit too hard.
Curse.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that, Dill. That was all me. Just losing the front end at the bottom. That's turn 4 at the end of the big N14 straight away. And yes, just going down. You can see he just pushed the front end a little bit too hard in there. He's trying to run the same kind of corner speed as what Blaise Baker's able to get out of the Suzuki, and just lost the front.
Oh, here we go. Things are really heating up at the front now. Steven Oendal is putting huge amounts of pressure on Adolf Boshoff, trying to get the mistake from the man. Oendal's going to fake on the inside. No, he doesn't. Adolf Boshoff, he's so late on the brakes. You can see he just clamps that front brake, and that Neolife Yamaha's front suspension just begs for mercy. But Oendal right on his tail. This is going to go down to the wire for sure.
Another rider going down. Can you believe it? Just not the way we want to see things happening here. Looks like Alex van den Berg is the rider that's gone down there. They got 1 lap to go, and here comes Pooch. Up the inside into turn 1. He's going to make it stick. No, he can't. Wow, Adolf Boshoff incredibly late, and probably didn't even break into turn 1.
Yeah, you're not going to make the pass there on Adolf Boshoff, that's for sure. But Oendal now, he's going to get the drive, sit in the slipstream, and this is where he's going to try and make it count. Oh, Oendal on the brakes. He manages somehow to hold that tight line, and Adolf Boshoff gets it all kinds of sideways. Oendal looks behind him. He's got that little little bit of an advantage now down the back straight, but Adolf Boshoff, he's broken that toe. I don't know if Boshoff will have enough now to make that pass, but Odendahl's gone in so hot.
Too hot there for Odendahl. That's going to give an opportunity to Boshoff to come back at him. Look at this. They come through. This is into turn 10 and 11. There's the move on the inside. Boshoff reclaims the lead. Incredible stuff. That's 4 times the lead has changed on the final lap.
I can't believe that move. Adolf Boshoff trusting the front end of that Yamaha so much. I think this is the last of the late breakers. This is international stuff here. Odendahl now going to try and square it on the inside, but Adolf Boshoff, after being a couple of bike lengths behind Odendahl, now looks like he's going to hold on and pick up the first race win of the season.
The crowd are standing by. Who's it going to be? Which Yamaha is going to cross the line first? Bit of a drag race to the line now because they've got equal power and they can do the same lap times. They go side by side. Look at this. Incredible. Across the line. Boshoff is going to take it. And only by 2/100ths of a second over Pooch. The Cowboy wins out and the Neolife Yamaha are the first team to take a victory. There you can see that's a nice bit of maneuvering there. As Blaze Baker stops to pick up his good friend Dylan Barnard at the bottom of the circuit. He'll finish up in 3rd place. Darren Leroux in his first outing for the full season gets a 4th ahead of Nicole van Arsvig on the Triumph. And Dion Nelson on his Triumph takes the win in the regionals. Brandon Nass is a happy man, and this man probably the happiest out there. Managing to beat the champion in his first time of asking. That's exactly how you want to start the season.
What can I say? New team, new bike. I can't say thank you enough to Uncle Andy and for all the work he's put in and his effort into the team. You know, yesterday we had terrible luck with the bike, and today is just turned over completely, and yeah, excellent now to be back on the podium.
I'm definitely not going to give up. Awesome battle with Adolf, really enjoyed it. Played some tactical tricks, but unfortunately it didn't work out. I led into, I don't know, one of the last corners, but I ran a little bit wide and I just gave him the opportunity to get a bit closer. But you know, there's always race 2, and I know we're using second-hand tires, so let's see what happens then.
New equipment, a new team. This is really awesome. I'd just like to thank Neolife for giving me the energy. Without them, this race wouldn't be possible, and Yamaha and Portable Shade. Just a big shout out to you guys. Thanks.
They're lined up for race number 2. We've got one bike missing in the middle of the pack there. I think that was Dylan Barnard. He unfortunately wasn't able to get the bike sorted out. And once again, Pooch off the line, untouchable. But Boshoff is right with him. Darren Leroux with another incredible start there. And on his tail comes the Suzuki. Looks like sneaking up on the inside there. That was a fantastic start, I got to say, from one of our young riders, Cam Aiken, on the Munro Honda. He just snuck up into 5th place. He started on the 4th row of the grid. So what a way to go for the youngster. He's now trying to hang with the Suzuki and, of course, with Darren Leroux. And he's under attack from a welcome return there for Darian Kaiser. They got the Uncle Andy Suzuki all sorted out, and he's back up and ready to race for race 2.
Great to see 16 600cc machines flying down that back straight, and they filtered through the little right-left section here. So difficult to get right at Red Star. Such a difficult track. You really have to get the bike set up perfectly, front end. And like you said, what a start from Cameron Aiken. First time I look at the size of that little man on that Munro Honda.
And he's going really well and fighting with another of our youngsters there. Incredible stuff coming out of Byron Bester. I've got to say, these two are probably going to be the future of the sport, particularly in 600s over the next couple of seasons, especially if they're going this well in their first time of asking. Remember, the 250cc Cup champion is Byron Bester. He looks back and he's trying to find out exactly where Matthew Schultz is. Matthew Schultz, another one of the Munro racing machines, all the way from Bulawayo, and first time out for him in the SuperGP Champions Trophy. So looking forward to seeing how those 3 youngsters progress through the season.
Right, Darren Leroux now putting a little bit of pressure on, very sideways and out of shape, Blaze Baker on the Suzuki. So this is the battle for 3rd place, and Blaze Baker very happy with the 3rd place finish in race number 1 for the new Suzuki team. But Darren Leroux done many laps around this track. He knows it like the back of his hand. And that's Darian Kaiser. Darian Kaiser on the Suzuki once again, as his teammate is still there in 3rd place, but being hassled now from Darren Leroux.
Darren Leroux just using a little bit of racecraft here. Remember him and Blaze Baker. If you look at the two, Blaze Baker probably got a little bit more experience in terms of national championship racing. But around Red Star, Leroux's set up. Leroux's got a problem. Oh no, we don't put another commentator's curse on him, but it looks like we have. Darren Leroux, I was about to say, has had probably a little bit more laps around this circuit than Blaze Baker, but he's not going to have any more. He's pulling in the pit lane, and his race is done.
And look at this out front. Stephen Odendahl has stamped his authority on this race. He did not want Adolf Boshoff anywhere near him, and he's out front comfortably now on that Yamaha R6 with a number 1 plate, showing his authority. And there you can see Armando Loureiro Just, oh, look at that. It's overheating bike, and that water is pouring all over that. So well done to Don Loureiro for recognizing that and pulling in, because that could have been disaster.
Either washed himself out or possibly taken another rider out. At the front though, the continuing battle between the two Yamahas. Unfortunately, looks like the Cowboy does not have an answer this time, and Pooch has just set the track alight. He's opened up a massive advantage, and I don't think we're going to see anybody able to catch Steven Odendaal here today on the Petra Racing Yamaha, particularly here in race 2.
Looks like it's going to be 25 points apiece. Look at Adolf Boshoff, leg off the footrest. So I wonder if he's actually got a problem there, but we've seen it a couple of times from Boshoff. When he's trying really hard, those feet come off the pegs, kind of chaise shuffle style.
I wonder if he's battling with a little bit of cramp as well. Could possibly be. You can see him just stretching the leg out every time he gets an opportunity. Here is Matthew Schultz, the man we mentioned from Bulawayo. And the youngster doing really well there and fighting hard on his Munro Honda, but unfortunately just being lapped by the Women in Motorsport Triumph of Nicole van Asvegen. She sits 4th place on the road overall and leads the regional championship.
That's what's great about this year's championship, is we've got the regionals and nationals combined. So Nicole van Asvegen will be picking up points in both championships, and the man picking up the most points in this race, number 1 plate on that bike, Steven Odendaal. Here we go, stand up wheelie, give it to us. There we go from the Pooch. Just a little one as he comes across the line. A very happy man, really stamped his authority on this race. Look at that, a comfortable margin over Adolf Boshoff there in 2nd place. That's Janine Mitchell on another Monroe Kawasaki bike crossing the line. Great to see her back. But Adolf Boshoff won't be too happy with that. He was a bit far off for his liking from Steven Odendaal.
A change up in the top of the order there with Steven Odendaal swapping out with Boshoff. Baker remains consistent in 3rd place. Nicole van Asvegen, as we said, 4th place and 1st of the regional riders. Byron Bester, Kieran Snyman, and then Cameron Aiken up in 7th.
That's a big smile he's got on his face after race number 1. He wasn't
Pooch is a happy man, much happier than race number 1, and there he is on the top step.
Coming onto the new team and having a double podium or first time is absolutely incredible. Not what I expected at all, but you know, got to take my hat off to Uncle Andy, the team, Suzuki, everyone who's helped me. My father especially had a hip replacement about a week and a half ago, and he's here with me, so big shout out to him, and just thank you to all my team.
I had a few cramps, but credits to Steven. Hirodi's also, that's one of Steven's good tracks, Pikisa. So there's a lot of testing to be done. Hopefully I get a win there again, and yeah, we'll see how it goes.
We've done a few tests around there, so we know the Yamaha is good around there. But you know, competition's always great, and Dolph rode really well today. Just want to say thanks to everyone who's behind me and helped me get on the number 1 spot. You know, it's not easy being a privateer, especially coming from such a nice team like Brad and Assos, but we're making it work, so I think that's good for us.
For 2016, the Super GP category is more exciting than ever. We've got the returning champ, Clint Seller, on his Neo Life Yamaha. We've got Greg Geldenhuys back on a Kawasaki, Darren Upton on a BMW, AJ Fenter on a Suzuki, and throw in some very fast masters, and it's going to be one hell of an exciting season.
Rob, incredibly, 25 motorcycles coming to line up on the grid. And man, are we in for an incredible season. This is what it's all about. Super GP have eventually come to the party, and we've now got the field that everybody wanted.
We saw Yamahas do battle in the 600 race, and this grid is packed with Yamahas. There's the first of the BMW riders, Darren Upton, stepping up into the National Championship for this year, as does that man, Michael White, on a Yamaha R1. Nick Robler back in racing, and Greg Geldenhuys, 3-time SA champion, back in the national category where he belongs.
There it is, Matthew Schultz, Seller and Shelley, the front row, with Upton, Good and Isaacs on the second. Aaron White and Grobler and AJ Fenter on the Suzuki there in 10th place. Incredibly though, both BMW and Yamaha offering race packages to some of the riders in the Super GP this season. That's why we see a majority of the riders going for that package.
The lights are on, they're going to go off, and it looks like a great start there from 2nd place man Clint Seller with a number 1 plate, but Matty Skoltz trying to elbow him out, and look at that, Shelley on the inside. Oh, he pushes Skoltz out, and a great start there from Darren Upton up into 4th place, but Skoltz, the biggest loser there. Shelley just nudging him wide, so he's got a bit of work to do, because he does not want Clint Seller to get any kind of gap out front.
Brandon Good on the Linex Yamaha also had an incredible start there. He's the second of the yellow Yamahas heading down there, and you can see just keeping the rest of the field at bay. Tucked in behind Upton as they go down into turn 4. And this is a difficult one to get right. Remember, this is the first time in anger that they've gone down here, and it looks like things are starting the way they finished last season, with Seller at the front end.
Not the start Lance Isaacs wanted. He's way down the pack with Greg Geldenhuys and Brent Herron. So you've got a lot of work to do there for some very fast riders further in the pack. But Clint Seller, was pretty much him and Matthew Skoltz setting the pace in qualifying qualifying and practice, so they're going to look to pull away. Brandon Good now dropping through the field. Michael White, first time we see him on the new Yamaha R1, running right up there and dicing with Lance Isaacs. Just behind them is Brent Herron.
I was about to say, a rider in the background there, Rob, going down. That's a big, big pity. And one of our regional riders, Dominic Nicholas, goes down on the Honda. That's right at the start, not where you want to be, unfortunately, on the ground, especially with the damage that was done to that bike. But now, as we start to sort things out in the mid-pack, Brent Herron putting the pressure onto Isaacs. Isaacs trying to do the same thing there to Magic Mike. And Magic Mike doing the exact same thing to Brandon Good.
Oh, Brandon Good, beautifully sideways there. And this is a great ride from Michael White. He hasn't had much time on that bike. And that's Brandon Good just ahead of him, picking up podium finishes. Oh, Clint Seller, our lead rider, he had a comfortable almost 2-second lead. The number 1 plate is parked in the dirt.
And game over as well. He won't get up from that. That's a massive, massive move there from Seller, and it's going to cost him dearly because that bike didn't look too good, I can tell you that much. And if they haven't got time to do it in between the heats, they're going to have to work frantically to try and sort him out for race number 2. But he is out of race number 1, which means Matthew Scholz is now miles ahead of anybody else on track.
Herron, Isaacs and Geldenhuys in a big battle, but Greg's with Seller in the pits.
I put my head down from, right from the line. I got a great start. And yeah, I was pushing, we never thought it was going to be easy, so I was just pushing, and unfortunately, I fell.
It's a little bit too hard, eh?
Absolutely, I was trying hard, and I think it's a hot day. We're running towards the edge of everything, I think, and I made a mistake. I didn't look very good, I must be honest. Very, very fast section over there, although it's only third gear. You do go fast, and it's one of those things that unfortunately the bikes get damaged when you fall at that speed.
Back on track, and Isaacs continues the battle now with Greg Geldenhuys. Herron's got through on him. The 2 Kawasaki riders and hounding the top BM man at this stage. Although at this stage he's not really the top BM man. Darren Upton, a bit further up the road, is actually leading the charge in terms of Motorrad's contention.
Great to see Greg Geldenhuys back in national racing on a Kawasaki this year, the 2016 bike. But that pretty much is a road bike with a race fairing kit. That is how new that bike is. The 2 Yamahas here now in a big battle. This is for 4th place. Darren Upton just ahead of him. Oh, Brandon Good's got problems. Looked like a false neutral or something there, but he's run off track. That's allowed Michael White through. And Brandon Good just not happy. Had a good start, but just started feeling the pressure there from the Yamaha rider behind him, Michael White, and making the mistake there. Now he's going to come back on track in about 9th or 10th place. So a lot of work to do there. And look at this, the Kawasaki battle on track now. The 2016 bike versus the 2015 bike of Brent Herron. And Geldenhuys trying to make the move, but Brent Herron last of the late breakers, as we know.
Yeah, just keeping him out right now. So the Black Knight keeping Double G at bay. Greg Geldenhuys, 3-time national champion back-to-back. He's certainly going to have some racecraft up his sleeve. He hasn't used it in a while, particularly at national championship level, so maybe a little bit rusty and waiting to pounce a bit later on.
And first time on that brand new Kawasaki, so new territory for him. As we look further down the field, that Damien Purificati, one of our regional riders, looks like he's gone down at the hairpin. Unfortunate there, stepping into the national regional SuperGP Championship this year. A rider that really has come on form in the last year or so. But Brent Herron, look now, going all kinds of defensive because he does not want Greg Geldenhuys on the Kawasaki to get past him. There's bragging rights here now for the Green Machines, and Brent Herron doing a good job at the moment, holding down that top 5 position.
He's doing a super job keeping out Greg Geldenhuys. Geldenhuys also known for his late braking ability, so the match between these two is going to be absolutely electric right to the line. Can't be too far to go now as they come across the line. You can see at the front end though, no worries whatsoever. Brand new team here. Of course, Temba Kamalo is his teammate this season, but Matthew Scholz exactly what he wants to do. Start the season with a victory, and a victory by a comfortable margin. He would have been warned and told probably by the pit board that Seller was out. So it's now just consolidation. Get him to the line and finish up on the podium. He's going to finish up ahead of Shelley, and incredibly that, of course, is Justin Gillison, one of the teammates there to Lance Isaacs Racing coming through. He'll be looking to get onto the podium for the Masters side, because there's also a Masters battle involved in Super GP in amongst all the racing.
Yeah, big pat on the back to Ricky Moraes and the MTech crew for getting that bike, because Matthew Scholz had a little bit of issues in the practice and qualifying, had a crash, and then a rear set came off so in this morning's warm-up. And to go out there and pick up the race number 1 win, that's exactly what him and the team wanted. So it was Scholz ahead of Shelley, Darren Upton first time out on the BMW in 3rd, and Michael White stepping from the 600s in 4th place.
Yeah, ahead of Brent Herron and Greg Geldenhuys, who wins the Kawasaki battle. Lance Isaacs second of the BMWs there in 7th place, just ahead of Grobler. There's a very happy man, the Umhlanga Rocket, Shelley, a well-known Red Star Raceway rider on the podium along with Darren Upton.
The guys have had one up on us practicing in the week, and have had the bike for a lot longer than I have, but no excuses. They rode hard, I rode even harder. A few things we need to change, and hopefully we can be up there.
I'm going to try my best to get it in the second heat now. I battled a bit now. Tires went off quick. But I know it's hot now. Yes, I can't believe it. But anyway, well done to everyone. Well done to Matthew, Darren, and everyone. Thanks to my team, Amtech Racing, Perkle, Yamaha, all the people that are behind me now to make this a successful year.
Yesterday I had a crash in the third free practice, and then lucky the team managed to fix it just before qualifying, and then the bike stopped on the first lap, managed to push it back and set a really fast qualifying time. We got pole. I didn't get the greatest start, but unfortunately still a foul. So yeah, that kind of gave me quite a lead out front, but yeah, I'm sure the second race both of us will be there for the first place win.
This weekend we're going to be donating this food to the Rivers Foundation. They're part of a church group that are feeding 33,000 poor people a week. They're always looking for food donations, and thank you to all the bikers who've come out this weekend, dropped a tin of food in to get free entrance to the circuit. It's part of our social drive, and we're really blessed to be able to help charities. They really are the superheroes of SuperGP, our unsung heroes who work behind the scenes to help those who are just not as fortunate as us.
Back onto the grid now for race 2 of the SuperGP Champions Trophy, and these riders have given it everything they can. One rider, incredibly unable to get the bike fixed in between the time, is Clinsella. That is a double DNF for him at the first round of him trying to retain the #1 plate and go for a 5-time back-to-back championship at national championship level.
It was a good start from Lance Isaacs, but he's been shuffled out by Anthony Shelley. But Isaacs going to use the power of that BMW S1000 RR. It's definitely got a little bit of legs over the R1s, but look at Michael White trying to take advantage of that into turn down the back straight on the inside. No, he doesn't make it stick. Brandon Good has managed to fix whatever problem he had on that Yamaha of his, and he's right up there now. And Darren Upton, not the start he wanted, the third place finisher from race #1, back down in about 6th or 7th place, but Matthew Scott's already stamping his authority on this race, and out front he's got a comfortable lead over Lance Isaacs. This is a much better ride from Isaacs. I spoke to him in the break, needed to twist some screws to get that bike handling the way he wants. And as I say that, Anthony Shelley bombs him on the inside.
Look, you can't really take into account Anthony Shelley, because Shelley will try different things at different moments that you don't even think are absolutely capable on a motorcycle, and he's able to do it on Lance Isaacs, probably our most experienced rider in the pack, and he didn't see that one coming. But he is certainly going better, as you said, Rob, on that S1000 RR, and is now the leading BMW. Just in the background, though, you can see he's being closed down by Magic Mike. Michael White on the Consortium Shipping R1 is also being hounded there by Upton. So it's basically the Consortium Shipping Yamaha in the BMW sandwich.
Just Yamahas. Oh, that's one of the BMW riders. That's Ronald Slamet all the way from Cape Town, making his return to national racing, and unfortunately just not getting to grips with that BMW just yet and running off there. But Michael White lining up a movie on Isaacs on the inside. Yeah, you could do that. You rail the right-hander and you line it up on the inside. So Michael White, the man on a charge at the moment, he's got Anthony Shelley just ahead of him in second place. And the two BMW riders now, Darren Upton, he wants those BMW rides. He got it in race #1. He's going to have to work hard to get past Isaacs here in race #2.
I tell you, the boys from Yamaha must be losing their minds, because they've got a blue, red and yellow Yamaha at the front end of this field. 1, 2, 3 are Yamaha, 4 and 5 are BMW, and the BMW battle continues. Remember, Lance Isaacs fighting for rights and the honor of being the first BMW, as Gildenays gets out of shape and goes sliding out of turn #7. That's not what you want. Just heading into the hairpin, he made a mistake, got a little bit too hard on the power, and the back end stepped out. And the second Kawasaki is out. This is the lead Kawasaki now, right on Brandon Good's tail. Much better run here from Harron.
Now, Harron has come all the way through the field, and he's now challenging for a top 5 position again. That's Brandon Good just ahead of him. The Yamaha's got a little bit better race pace, especially on the older tyres, so Harron having to work oh so hard on that 2015 Kawasaki ZX-10. He will be getting the new bike soon, so hopefully from Swartkops he'll be on the 2016 bike. But look at this now. Michael White has closed down Anthony Shelley for second place. Now remember, this is Michael White's second time out on that Yamaha R1, stepping up from the 600s last year. He ran runner-up in that championship, so going for a podium finish, second time out.
Yeah, he certainly knows what to do on a motorcycle, does Magic Mike. But further back here, battle's continuing, and you can see it's great to see the likes of Gareth Laverick stepping up for the very first time. Purificati got his bike sorted out, and they're fighting there with... is that Stoffberg? Yes, it is. The big man from Red Star Raceway, in amongst the usual contenders when it came to regional championships last year, and now they're having an epic battle in the mid-pack of the SuperGP Champions Trophy.
Gareth Laverick making the switch from the CBR 1000 that he ran last year onto the Kawasaki, so just getting to grips with the big Kawasaki machine, but we saw him. We know he's got incredible pace. Last year was the man to beat at Northern Regions level and still really is in the regional category. But like you said, he's got a host of very fast BMW riders just behind him. He has the battle now for second place. Matty Scholz has checked out, but Anthony Shelley is under pressure from Michael White, who looks comfortable there in third at the moment, but we know that Anthony Shelley is not the easiest man in the world to pass.
The two Yamahas coming up on the back end of Jacques van Weingaart, missed the Red Star Raceway himself.
Brent Herron.
Oh, that's a massive one for Herron. Sure, he got it completely out of shape there, and you can see he's not happy. He knows he made a mistake, and unfortunately, it might have just knocked the wind out of him, but more importantly, he's hurt the wrist again. He was just trying to back it in there to get up the inside of Isaacs. Wasn't close enough. There's no way he was going to make that stick. But at this stage of the race, you'll try anything to try and get up ahead of the man in front of you. It didn't work out quite the way he wanted. It has definitely worked out the way this man wanted. A double victory, 50 points in the bag, and his closest championship rival, and the man he's going to fight with all season long as Isaacs comes across the line. He will not only get a 5th place on track, but he'll also win out the Masters category for the day. But going back to this man, incredible start to the season. Scholz taking a double victory ahead of Shelley, Michael White on the podium this time, and of Upton winning the BMW battle, and Isaacs getting the Masters.
Brandon Good in 6th. AJ Fenton on the returning Suzuki GSX-1000 there in 7th place. So great shout out there. But Matty Scholz, like you said, 50 points in his chase for that number 1 spot.
To be honest, I didn't expect anything. Getting the bike ready for last week Sunday, riding it once, coming yesterday to practice and getting some problems with electronics. So basically I did about 30 laps. So I expected to be in the backfield just circulating, and I just gelled, and big shout out to all the sponsors, Consortium Shipping, Aztec, Autocannon, my dad and Kareem. Thank you everyone for helping me. I really appreciate it. And Race Tech Exhaust for helping me last night with the broken exhaust.
It was a great race now. At least I had a dice now with Michael White. He was the whole time with me. Matthew pulled away again. Well done to him. He's just put a great effort into this race now. And so have all of us. I mean, we've all tried our best, and I'd just like to thank all my sponsors, Schimmel's Yamaha, Tarpave, Amtech, my father, everyone else.
Lucky for me, I got the whole shot in the second heat, and I just put my head down, and I just charged for the first 8 laps, and then I pulled a slight gap, and I just maintained it from there. Well done to Anthony Shelley, he got 2 seconds. Well done to Mark White on the second heat, 3rd place, and just like to thank the boys from the MTech Yamaha squad. They did a brilliant job this weekend, and hopefully the next race we can come with one more double, you know?
We had a look at the data after the first race when we got back to the pits, and we found that after lap 3, tyre just kind of seemed to switch off. There was absolutely no traction. We actually didn't even have any wear on the tyre at all. The tyre looks brand spanking new. So we did a bit of homework, studied a bit of the telemetry. Thank you. We've got Kurt Bach here from BMW Germany. He's the international race engineer. We're collecting data. It's only our first real time we've turned laps on our bikes. And Bell Helmets, Shark Doctor, AA Bakery, Rockwell Watches, Fuchs Lubricants, all the boys. We're all pulling together. We are rallying, and we're gonna standing on this top step of this podium in both categories. That's for sure.
That's a wrap for the first round of the SuperGP Champions Trophy. Diode were in the house with all of their sponsors. We've had ups and downs, we've had upsets.
Yeah, Clint Seller crashing out, riding off his bike, losing 50 points to Matthew Scholz. But we saw some great racing in all the categories. Young riders, old riders, lady riders, men riders, everything today had it.
Just remember, we've joined Northern Regions with SuperGP for the very first time. It really worked well, and we're looking forward now to going to Pekisa on the 11th and 12th of March for the second round. Welcome to round 2 of the Diode SuperGP Champions Trophy here at Pekisa Freeway, and I hope you brought your jet skis, because man alive did we have a storm here last night, and unfortunately it has thrown things completely amongst the pigeons and the ducks.
Yeah, the pit lane this morning really did look like a disaster zone, but the teams, big up to them. They've done an amazing job at sorting everything out, sweeping the pits all clean, ready to go racing.
We're still going to go racing incredibly. Let's go and find out exactly what's going to happen here at round number 2.
Hi, I'm Brandon. I currently race in the Super Junior category. I'm from Cape Town. I'm 15 years old. My mom got me started in the sport 4 years ago. I race a KTM RC390. I'm sponsored by Keating & Young, St. Princeton Cleaning Services, HJC, and my dad. I'm really grateful for all the work he has done for me. My dad is at every race meeting as my mom's no longer around to be there, and he shows support 100% of the time. Practice went well for me. I got down to times very quickly, but I just couldn't get those extra seconds, and my bike blew up in qualifying just before I started my fast lap. Luckily, I got a provisional lap in.
It's going to put him at the back of the grid and have to do some work, but we know how good Staffen is. He's already taken double victory at Red Star Raceway, Rob, so look out for this youngster coming through the field, but nice to see the man who had a bit of a technical infringement on pole. Aiden Limburg is back and looking to dominate here this weekend.
Steffen's got a big job ahead of him. He's got that spare motor in the bike, so we don't know how that motor performs, and we can see in qualifying not where he wants to be, but Liebenberg really the man to beat at the moment. Tyrese Robert with a great start as we go on board here with Steffen going into turn 1. Look how brave these riders are. They just stick it in there. That's Dominic Doyle just ahead of him, but being forced out there from Liebenberg, who didn't get the start he wanted. So a lot of work to do there as we go down the back straight now, and you can see the bike of Steffen just lacking that little bit of extra pace from that spare motor.
Into the very fast right-hander. Double right-hander, now hard on the brakes. You can see chopping and changing. And Staffen not quite getting to grips with the same engine. That I think that engine is slightly down in power compared to his race engine. At the front, though, no worries at all for Liebenberg. He's starting to open up a good margin. It's Tyrese Robert fighting for third place there with Dominic Doyle. That's going to go down to the wire, and it's back to the wire. Checkered flag comes out. Liebenberg wins. Hackett in second, and Dominic Doyle just beating Tyrese to the line.
Luca Coccione is going to pick up 5th, but as we go on board here with our 6th place man, that's Brandon Staffen, a lonely 6th. You can see the man is not happy, wanted more championship points than that, so we'll see him in race number 2.
Bike was surging and I was losing our top end, and we found out that it was the fuel pump issues, so the bike was surging, so I wasn't getting enough top end to stick with the top oaks. It looks like we're going to change the tank, and maybe the fuel has gone funny inside the tank, so it's not going through the motor properly.
Fortunately, he had a spare bike, Rob, so he got that all sorted out now for race number 2, but he's got some work to do from the back, as we've seen. I think he's got what it takes. Let's have a look and see off the line. Great start from the second row there. Wow, incredible stuff coming out of Dominic Doyle again. Doyle is on fire here today, and he's definitely looking to make up ground after Red Star Raceway, and a bit of a disappointing round for him.
Better start there from Aiden Liebenberg as he hits the front. That's CJ Hackett on the inside of our cameraman Staffen, as he goes through the long right-hander here now, and he's being passed around the outside there of Tyrese Robert. So still a couple of little issues here for Brandon Staffen that kept out. CJ Hackett, that's running off at the very fastest part of the track. So, is he going to stay on? That's a great piece of riding there from the young man to stay on. Staffen looks like you can see just running out of steam a little bit, but so brave and so confident in the front end of that bike, flat out through the right-hander, and he's now made the pass up into 6th position.
Now, great riding from him, but CJ Hackett, I've got to say, hats off, well held, young man. Here he comes back again. In fact, CJ's picked up some decent pace, even though he ran wide. Across the line, it's a double victory for Aiden Limburg. No worries whatsoever for the fur call man. Dominic Doyle, in fact, just gets ahead of Tyrese Robert to win things out for 2nd and 3rd. Luca Coccione, didn't really see him much in the race, but he was up there for 4th. CJ Hackett just beating Staffen to the line, but on the podium, it's all about Aiden Limburg.
I'm really happy. I really needed this 50 points. This race, I got a lot better start. I got to all shot, and I managed to pull a bit of a gap from lap 1.
Race 2, I was up there sort of staying with them, trying to keep the gap neutral, and then my bike started to overheat and I was starting to lose grip towards the end of the race. Hopefully next time it will be a lot better for me, and we'll see what we can do next round.
Hi, my name is Nicole van Aswegen. I race the Super 600 class on my Triumph, and I've been racing for 11 years now. I started at the age of 21, and my dad actually got me into it. They used to do drag racing a long time ago, and he actually brought a TZR50 to the house, and we went to the parking lot and my dad took me training. My sport team, I've got my family that's here, supported me for 11 years. If it wasn't for my mum and dad, I wouldn't have been where I am today. I would also like to just thank Triumph Motorsport South Africa, Women in Motorsport, and Teasers for helping me race. Well, Pakisa for me is actually one of my favorite tracks. I always go well here. I think it's because it's a smooth track and not a lot of sharp turns. I think I can do very well here this weekend.
We've seen how well lady riders go at Pakisa, particularly. Remember the first season of SuperGP Champions Trophy, we had Janine Mitchell on the podium for Super M. So looking forward to seeing the same thing here with Nicole van Asvieken, particularly after the first round where she went so well, winning the regionals and 4th place overall in the nationals.
Stephen Oendal getting that Yamaha RV is hooked up and he heads into pole. Yeah, in the lead he goes, followed by Adolf Boshoff, and another great start there from Blaze Baker. So that Suzuki team really doing well. Nicole van Asvieken right up into 4th, but she's being passed there around the outside, a very wide Darian Kaiser. So I don't know if he's going to hold that as they come into the final turn, but I think he's going to have the line on the inside of Nicole. We go on board now with Adolf Boshoff. Look how close it is out front.
Yeah, it's real tight between these two. It's kind of the battle we've expected all day long, and just resuming what they started at Red Star Raceway. And this time, Pooch, remember, he is the king of Pakisa. There's not many riders who can get around Pakisa as fast as what Stephen Oendal can do. One of them is Adolf Boshoff, but right now, he's not found the marking just yet. And you can see here coming into the closing stages, Pooch is hanging on. Oh, but he's run wide. A mistake from him again. Oendal runs wide, and can you believe it? Adolf Boshoff sits up and lets him through.
I cannot believe that. Adolf Boshoff, a different kind of rider this year, playing the tactics, mind games with Stephen Oendal, saying, no, I don't want the lead, you have it. Nicole van Asvieken using the pace of that Triumph 675. Oh, it would have been brave to make the move there on Kaiser in the fastest part of the track. On the inside of her, that's Doran Lorero on the other Triumph now. The borrowed from Fourways Kawasaki Triumph. And Adolf Boshoff on the brakes now into the right-hander. He's run wide, so Oendal is going to definitely come back. So big mistake there from the Neo Life Yamaha man.
And that was just enough to give him the victory. Well done, Stephen Oendal. Boshoff in 2nd, and Baker comes through for 3rd place. Here's Nicole van Asvieken, still fighting for 5th. As they come across the line, Kaiser just wins, and wow, Barnard was right on her tail, but the top of the podium belongs to Pooch again.
I'm super glad that Adolf's here, keep me on my toes, and it's just so good for overseas experience, especially keep me learning, you can never stop learning from this. So I just want to say well done to him and well done to everyone else that's out there pushing hard.
It was an amazing race, and I made a few mistakes towards the end and the guys caught me, but it's okay, we still got race 2 to go. Bike feels amazing, and the tyres were sweet. I've got grip with worn tyres as well. So yeah, it's just the boys, the pace is a lot faster, so we'll see what happens the next race.
Incredible to see Stuart McLeod, ex-South African Superbike champion, helping Nicole van Asvieken out. You had the opportunity to race against him. You can see the improvements from Nicole have definitely come with the help of this man.
Yeah, with someone like that in your corner, it can only help. Adolf Boshoff now on the Neo Life Yamaha. Again, it's Stephen Oendal with a great start, and Nicole van Asvieken, her starts this year so far have been incredible, and she's going to run up in the top 4 yet again. But it's Pooch out front, Boshoff and Blaze Baker just ahead. Nicole running a little bit wide, but you can bring it back. Just hopefully no one's on the inside of her as she squares it up there onto the front straight now for the first time. And Adolf Boshoff is a man on the mission. He has pulled a couple of bike lanes on Stephen Oendal already.
Yeah, he's not holding back this time. He's giving everything he can, but you can see Oendal came back at him. They are now side by side. Whoa, touching fairings as they went through the kink there. That's how close it gets in Super 600s. Boshoff now heads down towards turn 2. Dylan Barnard, another incredible ride from the young man. He's now ahead of Nicole van Asvieken, so looking to change up what happened when the checkered flag came out the last time, and a change up at the front as well, because Boshoff has won. So it's 1-for-1 for Boshoff and Oendal. 3rd place goes to Baker again, and across the line, Barnard just beats Nicole van Asvieken.
Another great 5th place position there for Nicole van Asvieken, but it's all about that man, Adolf Boshoff.
The new tyres paid off, and I got the win.
This time we got a better start, and I was behind Blaze in 4th place. And unfortunately my bike's temperature gauge is not working, so it was telling the bike that it was too cold. But other than that, I had a great race, so thanks to everyone. We're going to fine-tune the bike and be ready for Swaxons.
I'm Ronald Slamet, 28 years old, currently riding for BMW Motorrad and Bavarian Motorcycles, coming from Cape Town. About 5 years ago, I was introduced to the sport by my father. Then it all, just ended up where it is at the moment. Bike racing to me is an individual sport, and it just pushes you to the utmost limit. That's where you get in tune with yourself, know where your weak points and strong points are, and it just brings out the best in me. My dad's very much involved in my racing, traveling all around with me, part of my support crew, gets his hands dirty everywhere he can, and just being a really strong support pillar. Team infrastructure is built around Downey Maritz Racing, managed by Paul Maton. I'm running the 2015 S1000 RR at the moment. Very, very fast and awesome bike to ride. we're getting to grips with the bike, only the second time out on the bike.
And slowly but surely putting on that Arai TT helmet. He wants to ride like a TT rider today. It's a purpose-built motorcycle circuit, and the Red Baron certainly looks fired up and up for the challenge. But this man, Clint Seller, has got it all to do. After a no finish at both race 1 and 2, he has got a massive mountain to climb.
Oh, terrible start there from the front row of the grid from Nicholas Krobler from 3rd position. But our onboard man, Ronald Slammert, gets a good start. That's David McFadden making his return, also on a Suzuki GSX 1000, making his way through the field. But on board there was Slammert. Now the BMW has got the horsepower, but just struggling with the handling of that bike. And that's Ryan van Asvierken making the move on the Cape Town man, the top of the hill. So great ride there from van Asvierken. And again, Carrick Flock, another BMW rider, getting past Slammert. So really battling with the setup of that BMW of his at the moment.
The Red Baron just taking a bit of strain here with the Wild Child. Ooh, nearly runs into the back of him and runs off the circuit all on his own. Now it's just too late braking. Fortunately didn't get into the kitty litter, kept it upright. But look how many positions he's lost there. With 31 riders on the grid. Rob, that's already 6 more riders than the last time at Red Star Raceway. It's just getting bigger and better as we get into this championship. And in the mid-pack, you can see the championship continues. That's Jesse Bossoff. Oh man, that guy is fighting hard. He's fighting hard, big time. At the front though, a welcome return for the champion as he takes race 1 victory. Seller wins out. Isaacs with a big wheelie across the line for 3rd place, losing out to Matthew Scholz. And here comes the Red Baron on the inside. Looks like Ricky Lee Weir he was fighting with there as they go down into the final couple of corners. And he's just snuck up on the inside, but he's run wide again. Oh, he's having a hard time of it today, isn't he?
Not happy with the setup of that bike, so got some work to do for race number 2. But it was all about that man, Clint Seller, and Isaacs in the Masters.
I worked hard for that one. We had a little problem in the warm-up this morning. For some reason, we had an error code on my electronic shifter. And we didn't want to take any chances. It kind of cleared itself up. Didn't want to take any chances, so we swapped it out just between warm-up and the first heat. And unfortunately, I was tasked to check to see that my levers and everything were all perfect. And I was like, nah, it's cool. It wasn't.
Yesterday, we were struggling with rear grip, and we knew that going out with the second-hand tires, we'll struggle within the race. A few laps in, I started feeling the back just sliding, and we went backwards about a second or so. Got caught by the field just behind me and passed while I tried adjusting the traction control sensor. And then got ran off by one rider, Garrick Flock, ran me off the circuit twice, and it was just it was a horrible race for me. Hopefully we can redeem ourselves and get a bit higher up the ladder in race 2.
Some work to be done now for the Red Baron. There's a couple of riders that are going to look to improve in race number 2. You can see lots of support on the sideline. A great start once again from Shelley mid-pack. McFadden sneaking through there. Whoa, what a start from the Suzuki as he heads up into turn number 1. But look at that. Upton incredibly also having a ding-dong start there and right into the thick of it.
As does Brent Aaron on his Kawasaki, with Greg Caldenace improving every time on that 2016 bike as we go further down into the regional riders. And there is our onboard man, Ronald Slammert. He's made a mistake somewhere because he's dicing with the regional guys. That's Dominic Nicholas on the CBR 1000. Oh, you could see that BMW just not set up for the man at all. Gareth Larrick. Oh, he's lost the front end of that Kawasaki in the right-hander. So just a little bit too much front brake there, and down he goes. But out front, Darren Upton. He's running in 4th position, but look at the gaggle of riders behind him, Greg.
7 riders all fighting for 4th place. Incredible stuff. The Red Baron would love to be there, but unfortunately just hasn't got the pace this weekend. Across the line, good to see Jay Goodsight also making a welcome return and hopefully to stay here as the champion takes a double victory. That's exactly what Clint Seller needed today. Had to come back with a double victory. But remember, with Michael White getting up there, and incredibly, no Matthew Scholz on the podium. Problems for Matthew Scholz in race number 2. He went missing early on, and that is vital for this championship. Good move from Stammer to get through on good sight.
I was kind of just doing my own race. I put my head down and I had a goal of a lap time in mind, and I actually went a little bit quicker. So I think we got the new lap record there as well, which is another feather in the cap there, and it just shows the work the guys have been doing since I basically destroyed that bike in Red Star. And Alfie, Brad, the whole team built a brand new motorcycle for me. Yamaha brought the parts, and this is the weapon that rolled out, and it really performed.
Got a good start. I think I stayed with the pack, and then hit a false neutral. I had to run off the circuit, make my way back behind a bunch of guys. I had to pass them again. So you know what? We came here, don't have the result that we want to, but like I said, we at least take home some knowledge on the bike.
Rob, from a day that looked like it wasn't even going to happen, man, did we have a great day's racing.
It was absolutely fantastic. Championship points gained by Clint Seller and SuperGP. Super 600s again, fantastic racing. Northern regions, oh man, two-wheeled racing in South Africa is back with a bang.
Yeah, it's on and up, there's no doubt about it. Now we head to Swartkops for the following round. Round 3 is going to be just as exciting. The championships have all closed in. The riders have had turnarounds in terms of their luck. Let's see what the Pretoria West Circuit can bring for round 3.
The SuperGP Champions Trophy is proudly brought to you by Diode and their associate sponsors.